All right.
I'm Jay. I'm good. I'm John. And we're Leinenkugel.
I'm Nick.
I'm Joey.
And I'm Zach.
And this is Cold Cans. People are going to know. People are going to know that we piped in this music.
They're not going to know. It's all live.
Are we keeping video this time? Is this being
the
recorded
video
with
will be
video?
recorded now. We are using a different service that is recording video and audio. Cheers to everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're doing this remotely. We're good little boys and good little humans, which we can all relate to that last one there. And of course, on the show today, special guest, fan of the show, friend of the show, family of the show, ZP, Zach Patry is joining us.
Nice to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for coming back on to reevaluate Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy.
New Hopportunity.
A new opportunity. Of course, Cold Cans heads will remember back on episode 57. That was May 18th of 2018. Zach was on the program as Joey was elsewhere. Do you remember where you were at that point, Joey? May 18th, 2018?
I'm such a traveling elite. I don't keep tabs of where I was.
That's right. The elites do not keep track. We'll have to ask your assistant if they can track down your.
Yeah, I'll have my people call you.
Okay, we'll edit that in after the fact. Okay, so today we got a ton of segments to get through.
We do.
So should we jump right into some Leinenkugels news? Now, ZP, you've been drinking a fair amount of Leinenkugels here during quarantine time. I get pictures nearly every day of a new concoction you're drinking, and you bought something that's kind of interesting. I've never heard of this from a brewery before. Can you tell us what you were drinking?
Yeah, I have been drinking. Well, I picked up a 12-pack of their Mixology 12-pack is what it's called. So it's 4 different beers, 3 of each. Obviously makes a 12-pack. You get Summer Shandy, Grapefruit Shandy, Berry Weiss, and Canoe Paddle Kolsch, which is the rebranded Canoe Paddler.
Yes, formerly Canoe Paddler. I do have some content on this. Now, I interrupt this segment with breaking news.
Wow.
This is from June 14th of 2019.
Breaking.
So this is from the MolsonCoorsBlog.com. And of course, famously, the owner of Leinenkugels, Molson Coors, they say in a move designed both to embrace its German heritage, which we all should embrace our German heritage, and underscore its craft credentials, Leinenkugel's Canoe Paddler is rebranding and will become a year-round offering. The award-winning lager, which debuted in 2013 as a summer seasonal, is becoming Canoe Paddle Kolsch. Redesigned cans and bottles are slated to hit retail early this fall, says Erica Morris, marketing manager for Leinenkugels. The beer recipe, however, will remain the same. Back to you in studio, Zach.
All right, thanks, Nick. That was some great content. So yeah, I've only tried 2.
I hope they don't say that on the news these days. That was great content. Thank you. Now for the weather. We got some weather content coming your way.
Hey, can I break in as the resident conspiracy theorist and ask, when did that article come out again?
June of 2019.
Because, and it's called Canoe Paddle Kolsch.
Mm-hmm. Used to
a
be
very
Paddler.
A very similar cadence to a certain beer that was brewed, Cold Cans Kolsch. And you want to know what date Cold Cans Kolsch came out?
Damn,
June of 2019. Something. June of 2019 is when Cold Cans Kolsch, the episode came out.
Mind blown.
Wow. We are going to have to track down some Leinenkugels and string them up.
I'm not
to look for Jake, Dick, and John.
That's right.
I'm not saying Jake, and John, or whatever the fuck their names are, have any idea about our show.
And John.
But what I will say is there are no coincidences in the post-Obama era that we live in.
God, I wish it was not post-Obama.
So yeah, anyway, I have only tried 2 of the 4 mixes that they are encouraging you to try. So the 4 are Summer Shandy and Canoe Paddle Kolsch, which makes Shandy Paddler, a smooth, clean flavor with a hint of lemonade.
How was it? I need your review.
I have not tried that one.
Oh, you haven't tried
I have only tried the last 2 that I'm going to
Got
Okay.
it.
Tell you. So the second is the Shandy Paradise, which is summer shandy and grapefruit shandy. And these are all half and half,
Ooh.
6 ounces of each. Subtly sweet, slightly tart combination. The pink lemonade I had last night with dinner, which is summer shandy and berry vice lemonade
That one
refreshment
intrigued me.
with a
How was it?
pleasant berry twist. That one was very good. I really enjoyed it. And my girlfriend, who is not a beer drinker at all, also enjoyed it. So that was surprising.
Nice. Yeah, it does sound
Um,
like it would be one
something
that's
for
pretty
everyone.
palatable.
And then the last one is the pamplemousse,
For Jakes,
which
all the
is
Jakes and the Jicks and the Johns of the world. And the
The
giant. I wanted to say this for it because it's gross. The giant Kugels. I'm Jake. I'm Jick. I'm John. And we're the giant Kugels.
This is bad.
I
Bad
know.
content.
I'm sorry.
and the last one is pamplemousse, which is canoe paddle kolsch, and grapefruit shandy. Smooth, clean flavor with a hint of tart grapefruit. And that was the one that I had today as I was prepping to come on the show today. And that one was very good as well. I mean, the canoe paddle kolsch is very good on its own.
Rank
and adding
them.
just that hint of grapefruit in there, just a little bit of an aftertaste, it was really good.
Rank
Nice. Which
them.
was your favorite of the mix?
I would say the pamplemousse was my favorite of the two.
Yeah, that one
So-
sounds intriguing.
As a connoisseur of Leine's O, ZP,
Yes.
are you a fan of these mixologies? Sounded like you've enjoyed them. And do you like them more or less than Leine's O?
I guess it depends on the situation, but overall, I would say less.
Less. Okay. Because I think basically Leine's Summer Shandy is their flagship brand right now, isn't it? Like if you
This article,
Pretty much.
this article says that accounts for half of their sales.
Yeah, okay. So it's their flagship.
Yeah.
So Leine's O itself is just something that people in general don't. Is that even distributed nationally? Like
I
original
have never
Leinenkugels?
seen it out here.
No, I think it's pretty much just like the Midwest. I don't think it leaves the Midwest. I've seen it in Minnesota. I don't hang out in the godforsaken state of Illinois, so I don't know if it's there.
That's
And
right. I don't know if that's ever come up on the show, but Zach has a irrational and probably unfounded hatred of people from Illinois.
it's not just people from Illinois; it's the state of Illinois,
Oh, okay. The state itself.
and primarily drivers from Illinois.
Right.
If you're not driving,
guy.
I'll have a better time with you. But if you are in a car and you're from Illinois, I'm probably going to hate you.
So have we talked about fibs? The concept of fib,
I think you guys have brought that up a couple
I think we
times.
have, yeah.
the fucking Illinois bastard.
Correct.
And you generally refer to that as a driver on the road who's driving like a goddamn maniac. Oh, I see. He's a fib. Is what you'd say in Wisconsin. I want to say we can disparage Minnesota, we can disparage Illinois, but we cannot and will not disparage the great state of Iowa. Shout out to Iowa State University or wherever the hell we have a contingent of listeners that have reached
Hell
out
yeah.
to us lately. So shout out.
That's where, yeah,
We love Iowa.
Ames, Iowa. I think that's where Iowa State is.
That
could
sounds
say?
right.
Who could say? We're right. We're all on. We're
Actually,
all online
is
right
it
now.
Ames where Iowa is, the University
Let's
of Iowa?
see. Nope, it's Iowa State.
Okay.
A lot of Wisconsin basketball prospects go play at Iowa State.
Wow.
The Cyclones.
Yeah, they're a good basketball team.
They
They're always
are.
a 3 seed. I always look at them in the bracket and I go, I'm not picking Iowa State.
Oh, really?
How'd your
I kinda
bracket do
like
this year,
picking
Joey?
them.
Yeah, well, the only bracket this year. You know what we should have done? We should have done a cold cans
Stole
bracket.
stole
the
another
Doughboys-
Doughboys.
The Doughboys
Mhm.
Munch Madness
Uh-huh.
tournament. We could have done a tournament for re-ranking,
Hey, my strategy for filling out a bracket finally paid off this year. So
which is
I don't fill out a bracket.
wow.
Hey, you don't risk anything, you don't win anything, okay? I'm a millionaire off of my NCAA bracket winnings.
That's where you got your millions.
Mm-hmm. Didn't list any of it on taxes either.
Your first million from NCAA bracket winnings. Your second from Cold Cans podcast
From Cold Cans Kolsch sales.
and
yeah.
Cold Cans Kolsch sales.
It was one growler for a million.
Yeah.
Never
Hey,
to be
look,
Hey,
produced.
supply and demand. Supply and
Exactly.
demand.
There's purveyors out there of this of what we have to make.
Also, this
We're purveyors.
Geography discussion makes me just want to say, for anyone who doesn't know, Leinenkugels is brewed in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. I don't know if we've said that on the show or not, but that's why most of its distribution of all of its beers is centralized to the Midwest. But they do, Summer Shandy is always on the shelf out here in Seattle. So at least that beer reaches a wide audience.
Wow. I think it's shocking to me that I guess it makes sense, but we've seen the latest craze in the fast casual alcohol industry is hard seltzers. It's shocking to me that Shandy's didn't kind of take off. Like Leine's is the only one that makes.
They did take off though.
When? Did I miss that boat? Because I like Shandy's. I don't like hard seltzers.
4 Leine's.
Yeah, Leine's Summer Shandy was the beer that launched them onto the national stage.
Right.
Sure, no doubt. But there were no copycats. I don't see any other Shandies on.
Well, I mean, Shock Top has a lemon shandy that's very similar to it.
Oh, good call. One we've reviewed on the show, and I forgot. Okay, but that's it.
I would even throw Bud Light Lime is like sort of going that direction. Bud Light Orange. I think there have been attempts to do it, but all of them were just falling short of the crowd that just wanted like low calorie intake, which I think is what the hard seltzer craze is all.
And you bring up the hard seltzer. Leine's is actually making a Spritzen line now as well, which is they say it's still beer, so it's not like the true hard seltzer kind of thing, but I have tried 2 of the 3 flavors that they have, which are pineapple strawberry and raspberry lemon. And
when I heard you say those, I was like, those sound absolutely gross.
Sound awful.
I have not had a hard seltzer that I've enjoyed. I think they're all terrible.
What have you tried?
I've had White Claw. I had the crap that you had at your apartment when I was in Seattle that you guys did on the show. That was just like still.
No, I wouldn't lump that in with the other stuff.
What was that? What are you referring to?
Pura Still.
Oh, Pura Still.
Blackberry Pura Still.
It was really bad.
That spiked still water. That was a miss. Swing and a miss.
Oh, mama.
But anyway, I actually really liked the Spritzen beers that Leinenkugels has put out. The raspberry lemon one just kind of tastes like somebody took a berry vice and poured lemon seltzer water in it.
Okay.
That's about it.
That's not bad. It does, and it accomplishes the goal of being just like lighter, easier drinking.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I recommend them.
So Nick, of the 3 of us, you're the only seltzer head here, seltzer supporter, whereas we are seltzer
deniers.
Sure.
Nick, keep with the theme of
the alliterative theme. Nick, why do you like hard seltzers? What is attractive to you with those?
I think everything we've mentioned. It's light, it's refreshing. It's not something I'm going to drink in any setting. What?
That's something I'm going to drink in any setting, but
except maybe alone in my bathtub.
What do you mean by that? I actually don't.
I don't drink hard seltzer like all winter long or anything like that. It's something I'll drink in the summer when it's nice outside. If I'm by a lake or something like that, it's perfect for that.
You choose it over a Shandy?
Yeah. Wow. Volume, baby. Drinkability, sessionability.
You can drink more hard seltzers than Shandies? Oh, sure. I'm the other way. I get so full and bloated and feel like fucking dog shit after
just spritzed all over my shirt.
Yeah, if we release the video this time, if our lawyers allow it, we'll
release the Leine's.
See it. They make me feel awful. I have one and I have heartburn. So it's that artificialness to it. It's like the fucking.
It's all natural, baby.
It's the candy flavor of like fruit, not a fruit flavor of fruit. Like,
what are you talking about? What are you referring to? Because I don't think
Shandy,
that's true.
I'm holding the Shandy, but my video is
your
not allowing me to
background.
display. Shandy tastes more like actual lemon to me, and it's just the way I process it. The lemon in the lemonade comes out better, whereas hard seltzers, it tastes like you sucking on a sucker or a Jolly Rancher or something. That kind of candy.
Do you have
flavor.
A specific brand in mind when you say that?
Thinking about Bud Light seltzers, those are awful. Just genuinely, truly awful.
Huh. I think those are actually pretty solid. I think those are on par with White Claw and being the most palatable hard seltzer.
It's all too much. It needs to be more subtle. The fruit needs to be more subtle. That's what I think. But you can't really do that because then what is it going to taste like? I don't know what just alcohol and plain seltzer water would taste like. It wouldn't be very good.
Huh. Yeah.
It's like malt alcohol.
If you
And we could ask our uncle. He drinks Ryan water all the time. It's probably a similar taste.
Okay, fair enough.
That'll be a new segment. More of the Patriot Clan. Okay, we can move on because this is. I think this is. And I remember reading an article when the Spritzen line was introduced, which it's also funny to me that they are stubborn enough to stick with the German naming system to call it Spritzen. If you're looking to release this on a wide basis, that is not the way to go. But whatever. Right. They said they wanted to do it because Summer Shandy, which we said is their flagship, has been hammered by hard seltzer popularity.
Right.
So they were admitting that, and that's why they came out with that line. So I'll be curious to drink it, and if it's available out here, I will pick some up. But I'll see how widely they're trying to distribute that thing. Yeah,
I think it's only going to just keep exploding from here, especially into the summer. But it may be impacted by this coronavirus scare. If we can't get together, none of us are buying hard seltzer.
For sure.
That's not an at-home beverage.
Right.
But I do think we had a segment lined up, and this is too good of a segue that I don't want to pass it up here. So we're going to launch into the segment now. How did we want to do this? Do we cue the music first? Nick's opening his second lineies. Nice. The segment, this sucks. It's not going to be good, but our segment is called What's on Tap with Jake Tapper. Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is good, Joey. Don't be ashamed. We workshopped this for 15 minutes before the show, just so everybody knows.
Was it that long?
Okay. Hi, I am Jake Tapper. Welcome to What's on Tap. I'm joined today by my co-hosts. I don't know why these three would be together on a show, but I'm joined today by my co-host, Sean Kennedy. Sean, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jake. Glad to be here.
And finally, Lester Colt 45. Lester, thanks for joining. Me. All right, to the top of the news. I still think
we should have gone with Katie Kurzik for what it's worth. But.
We workshopped Katie Kurzik, but it would have been confusing because then it would have been Zach and not a female presence. We need to actually have more women on the show, which is something
let's pump the brakes here. Okay.
All right, so let's get to our first headline. I got an email today.
Okay.
I checked my email, and one came in from Men's Health, and the headline was "The Delicious, Vaguely Healthful Promise of Hard Seltzer." And they're talking about the amount of money that these companies are throwing at hard seltzer for this upcoming spring and summer region.
Okay.
And I'll just read a little blurb here. By now, you probably know all about what happened next. I don't know if they gave me a bad blurb to start with. In mid-January, Bud Light Seltzer hit store shelves alongside a great wave of marketing that included its own Super Bowl ad with hip-hop star Post Malone.
Of course.
A fan of Post Malone, Nick is.
Needless to say.
Anheuser-Busch InBev spent $100 million on that launch, roughly equivalent to New Mexico's annual GDP, and that's a drop in the market. That's a drop in the bucket.
Wait, what was the money? How much?
$100 million. And that is a drop in the bucket compared with the total hard seltzer market, which passed $1 billion in 2019 and was up more than 200% year over year, just ahead of Bud Light Seltzer's launch. So it's a rocket ship, and I'm afraid that we're all going to be fucking drinking. We're going to be seeing and drinking seltzers with frequency that I don't like. I think the public's appetite for beer might tank, at least mass market beer. That's my fear.
This is actually something that's been discussed at length on the Vine Pair podcast, of which Zach Ball, past and certainly future guest on the show, is a co-host of. Go check it out. They're doing some good stuff around the COVID crisis too, so that's interesting to listen to. But yeah, it is interesting. Like, how is it impacting the alcohol market?
Yeah.
And it says a lot about consumer tastes, I think. Though I do think that a lot of people who are drinking hard seltzer wouldn't otherwise be drinking beer. So I don't think
it's a new market.
In some ways, yeah, it's the wine market or the wine cooler market. You know, people who are like drinking Zimas or whatever,
mixed drinks,
hard seltzers and mixed drinks.
Okay.
So I don't think it necessarily is stealing a ton from the beer market. It will maybe keep some people from being introduced to kind of the more craft beer and beer experimentation segments, but I don't know if it's going to completely ruin the beer industry.
Right. Okay, that's good to know because I'm afraid
I'm
of
Sean
hard
Kennedy,
seltzer.
by the way.
Yeah, Sean Kennedy. Thank you, Sean, for your analysis. That's the
That
only
was
headline
not
I
nearly
had.
tinfoil hat enough of that.
Yeah, it's true.
So what are you worried about, Jake?
Jake Tapper, am specifically worried that I've said this enough on the show, I like shitty mass market light beer. And if seltzer eats into that market, then people will more likely, when I attend a barbecue or something, be supplying me with that. And I don't want to drink seltzer. I don't ever want to have another hard seltzer again. I don't want it anywhere around me. And I like a good light beer, and I guess I'm a crotchety old man on this subject. I don't understand the infatuation. I hope it's a fad and not a long-term trend.
Sounds like maybe Cold Cans Light in the works, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Cold Cans Kolsch Light.
Hey, we'll follow the money.
It's a synonym for light that starts with a C. You're okay.
If we have the chance to be the first ever hard seltzer podcast, I'm suddenly a fan of hard seltzer.
Yeah, imagine the market potential. We'll get our little cut of that 100 mil.
$1 billion, not 100 million. That's how much they spent on the Super Bowl ad.
Oh, the market.
Million.
Right.
It's $1 billion market.
Wow.
And it's brand new. It just came out a couple of years ago. It's $1 billion market.
Because I believe White Claw, that's not owned by like some bigger company. It's some company that owns White Claw and Mike's Hard Lemonade, I believe, is what's going on there.
Yeah.
So that's impressive that they've been able to get the foothold that they have had without having the existing distribution of like a Molson Coors or Anheuser-Busch.
Part of it is how it's made. So from the same article, making hard seltzer isn't very hard. Bud Light Seltzer involves a 20-day fermentation that uses cane sugar and distilled water before moving on to flavoring steps. The average lager takes about a month to brew. It's designed to be sold cheaply in large quantities, meaning that to make money, sellers have to convince you to drink an awful lot of it. So that could be part of it too. People are like, there's an appetite for this shit that's cheaper for us to produce at scale. Of course, advertisers are going to make a market out of it, but it tastes like shit and makes you feel like shit. And so I'm confused.
I think it's popular because it's low in calories for one.
Yeah.
It has no sugar in it like other wine coolers or wine itself does. And in theory, it's not going to fill you up in the same way beer does. I still think a lot of people probably have an adverse belly reaction when they're drinking a lot of beer. And so having just this like base spirit, like if tomorrow they came out with like a powder of alcohol that you could take to like get drunk and feel it, people would do it. They would flock to it. It's just the next rung down of like, what's the easiest way to get this stuff into my system? But I think that is for a specific time and a place. I don't think it's people who actually like beer aren't going to go to that because they're not necessarily in it for the alcohol.
That's good.
Alone.
That's the point I was going to make. It's beer to me isn't a means to an end. It's the journey that I like. I like drinking a beer. I don't want to snort powder to get drunk.
I was going to say powdered alcohol sounds like a gateway drug to cocaine.
Yeah, probably.
Sure. The last bit I have during this segment is something that we need to be worried about.
When are we going to go to commercial? How are we paying for all of
after this segment, Sean?
Okay.
Our lawyers need to start to get involved. Here's the next paragraph.
Nootropics.
With any hot new cultural trend, more than a little skepticism is warranted. Remember Zima? In 1994, Coors bet big on Zima, the translucent malternative, pouring $38 million into a nationwide rollout, which used that term in its advertising. The marketing blitz worked in piquing consumers' curiosity. The company estimated that 70% of regular drinkers tried Zima at least once. But Zima quickly tanked for two reasons. It tasted like shit, and it was maligned as innately feminine, scaring off nearly 50% of the population. So those are the proven challenges that hard seltzer's going to have.
But I think in the meantime, Michelob Ultra has done the legwork of not making light drinks seem feminine.
Yeah.
That was their whole thing, is you go do your workout and then you want a beer, but you don't want to lose all of your gains. So then you got to drink a low calorie beer, and it's going to be Mick Ultra.
Right. So where does Shandy's and ZP's favorite mixology concoctions fit into this whole thing? I mean, is it just that Leinenkugel gives up on the Shandy, or it's their flagship, but they themselves just start making hard seltzer and join, or do you think that Shandy's can carve a niche out of that pool?
I think they already have a niche, right? Like they're probably most often consumed at a like tailgate or a backyard barbecue or something like that, like in the summer, of course. And those have replaced maybe people who would drink Miller Lite or Bud Light otherwise.
Right.
But as we talked about I think when Zach and I did this original episode, Summer Shandy is not necessarily a beer you can drink a lot of. I think once you get past one or two, it's starting to feel a little bit, bad on the gut, and the aftertaste is not. That's why I kind of disagree with the idea that the lemon flavor of Summer Shandy is nice. I think it's nice for one, but I think past that it's pretty unbearable.
If you hadn't invited me to be on this episode, I probably wouldn't have a Summer Shandy until baseball came back.
Okay. Yeah,
that's my go-to at the ball game.
I think it is perfect for that. It's nice when it's hot out to have like an ice cold Summer Shandy.
I mean, lemon in general, the fruit, is not something you can have a lot of. Like you can't, I can't chug lemonade. Yeah. I start to feel the same thing. Like you feel the sugar on your tongue and stuff.
Right. That's mostly from the sugar.
And so that's going on with this. But to me, that's a better flavor in my mouth after I'm done drinking it than what hard seltzer leaves me with. That candy flavor. I hate it.
I'm surprised because there's no way this is anything but a lemon extract or like. So it's not like they're just dumping lemonade in here. It says, natural lemonade flavor.
God damn it. It does.
So and we've talked about this before when I've been homebrewing my own shandies. I think it's better to make your own shandy with like any light beer and then like Newman's Own lemonade or whatever lemonade is available at the store. I think that's a much more refreshing and more sessionable way to do a shandy.
What's your ratio? Are you Arnold Palmer 50-50 or are you Nick Weiger 75-25?
Oh, I don't know Nick Weiger. What is his ratio for?
He when he makes Arnold Palmers, he does 75% tea, 25% lemonade, and he calls it the Nick Weiger.
I would be the Nick Weiger then. I do more beer than lemonade for sure.
You're goddamn right. Yeah. To me, it's the same ratio as what you'd put in a mimosa. My mimosas are 80 to 90% champagne and then just a splash of orange juice. You don't want to go too heavy orange juice. It ruins the whole thing.
I enjoy a John Daly on the golf course.
Of course. What's the ratio there?
I don't care.
Yeah, whatever gets you drunk. I learned this the other day. In England, they call something that is basically a mimosa a Bucks Fizz.
Can you do that with your best British accent? Can you tell me that you'd like a Bucks Fizz because it's a hot day out?
Pardon me. Waiter.
Aye.
One Bucks Fizz, please.
What's that? What's that in it?
One Bucks Fizz.
Bucks Fizz. This fucking bloke wants a Bucks Fizz.
Cheerio.
Fuck off.
Was that Hugh Grant just in here?
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
We're looking
Grand order is a Bucks Fizz. Thank you, people. Thank you. See you next week.
All right, well, Jake, Sean, I think it's time to go to commercial break here.
Thank you, Lester.
We have to be clear that was Sean Kennedy doing a British accent with Jake Tapper. That concludes the What's on Tap segment. Do we have outro music?
No.
God damn it. All right.
Sponsored by Cold Cans Podcast.
Yes, check it out, coldcanspodcast.com.
Let's check in with the beer. ZP, how's it going?
It's going fine. I had a little buzz going on coming into it, so it's going down all right.
You are 2 hours ahead of us, so it is but 5 o'clock here, but for you
7:08.
7:08.
7:08. I got 3 bumps of powdered alcohol in my system by 7 o'clock every day. So it's going down fine, is your assessment?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple glasses of pamplemousse before coming on, so just a nice addition to the already adding up calories in my gut.
Sure.
Do you prefer pamplemousse to summer shandy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wow. Is Shandy your least favorite of all the mixology drinks?
I like summer shandy better than I like grapefruit shandy. If you're just drinking them straight. But honestly, the summer shandy is really good mixed with the berry vice. Like I could drink 5 of those and not feel the same like kind of gross tongue feeling that you have after a couple of shandies.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, mine similarly, it's going down fine. It does catch me between like, it's got enough flavor that I can't mindlessly finish 3 of them. Like there are some beers we review on this podcast where I'm like, holy shit, I've drank 2 and we're 15 minutes in. This has enough to like keep me back, but not really in a good way. Whereas like I'm a self-professed hophead, or am I a big malt boy? No, you're the big malt boy.
Yeah. Of course, you're a hophead.
I know. I've always been a hophead, but hop stuff by its nature keeps me back a little bit. Like I'm enjoying every sip. This is sort of caught there where it's like it's not as good of a flavor as a good beer, but I still am savoring it, I guess, a little bit more. And then it doesn't have a payoff when I savor it. So
sure,
I'm overall a little confused. I think to Zach's point, I got to be at a ball game. I got to be on a boat. Wherever Nick would normally be drinking a White Claw, I would like to have one of these. And so it's so specific to a time and place and weather conditions and so on that it's a strange thing to be drinking here in quarantine and a gray Seattle day in early April.
Yeah, we didn't get much sun here today either. Pretty cloudy.
Yeah, I think it's a great point to make. Like this, I had moved on to my second one, but I've slowed way down. It's just not hitting the spot anymore.
No.
But I think, if we were sitting outside and it was nice, I would probably be slamming through these.
Yeah.
But it's just not that kind of beer that can be applicable to any time. Like a Coors Light, for instance.
It doesn't have like that fake hydrating feeling that Coors Light will give you, where you're like drinking it to kind of quench your thirst a little bit. This feels like I'm going to need to drink water or I'll be hungover if I drink too many of these because of the sugar content, or how forward the sugar is in this drink.
Yeah, I did check. There are 130 calories in the summer shandy for what it's worth. I don't know how much of that is sugar.
That's not too bad.
I know. That's less than I may have thought. What was do we have another segment to do?
I had a surprise that I was going to show you.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So our next segment, you got music for this one queued up?
I don't.
So
we talked about thank you guys. Thanks for that nice intro. We talked a little bit about the history of Leinenkugels and Summer Shandy specifically. So Summer Shandy came out in 2007. And you talked about the mass market appeal of it. So the first year they only made 30,000 barrels that were distributed across 11 states in 2007. And they sold out immediately. And the next year they made 60,000, sold out immediately. Finally they made 100,000 in its third year. And by 2010 was when they hit the national market with Summer Shandy. Before all of that happened, Leinenkugels, being a Wisconsin staple, decided to do a special run of Summer Shandy for the Tavern League of Wisconsin that I got my hands on one of the bottles.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't see the label very well there, but it's a Summer Shandy first run. It has the date of March 22nd, 2007 on the bottom. It was not made for distribution. It has a gold cap instead of the typical Leinenkugels cap, and there's no printed date on the bottle.
Nice. So, how old did you say that it was now?
This is from 2007, so this would be in 13-year-old Summer Shandy.
That's rancid. That's going to be rancid Shandy.
Oh, yes. I am not going to drink this. But,
I thought that was the surprise.
No. I don't even like Summer Shandy when the date is like a month past the date on the bottle.
But it might actually make you sick if you drink
it. Right,
exactly. Because
the
lemonade in it.
But yeah, So I have a bunch of Leinenkugel stuff. I have my Leine's original koozie that I've got on my summer shandy right now.
A lot of fun.
And I had that on a bubbly that I was drinking during a work meeting the other day. And a couple of my coworkers obviously spotted the Leinenkugel's can and called me out on it. And then I get a message after that from one of them says, because I mentioned that I was going to do the podcast with you guys. This was after Nicholas had invited
World famous Cold Cans podcast.
Come on. And I got a message from one of my coworkers saying, hey, if you're doing summer shandy, I've got something you might want to have. And it was this bottle. So he was working as a distributor, and one of the people that he distributed to said, hey, I've got this. I don't need it. You can have it. And so it's a first run bottle of summer shandy.
CP, you got to drink it.
I am not going to drink it.
I was going to say, the hospitals are overrun right now. Now's not the time to be drinking 13-year-old
social
beers.
Distance and not drink 13-year-old summer shandy.
That is a very cool piece of memorabilia, though, especially for a Leinenkugel loony such as yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks to John for handing that to me. And
thank you, John.
John? Jake, John, and Dick?
No, different John. Different John.
Okay.
By the way, when you were saying those dates about Leinenkugels, it made me think of when were they acquired by Molson Coors, and it's back in 1988 they were sold to Miller. So for that time, between then and 2007 is the time it took for them to get something that was nationally distributed.
Yep. Yeah, Miller gave
incredible.
They gave them quite the leash. Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And they're still involved with the company. So
and today being Friday, I drank out of my mug that says "This might be Leinenkugels."
That's a great mug.
It's a good mug. We as two hosts of a beer drinking podcast, anything you send USPS to us, we'll accept with grace
and consume.
We'll be happy, of course. We'll drink. I'll tell you what. If you send that bottle, we will drink it on the show. I will have that old shandy.
I will consider it when the whole quarantine situation is over.
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's rank it.
Let's get into it.
I'll start out with recap of the BA score. Yeah, please re-rank or leave it. You never know.
New Hopportunity or not? Yes.
Beer advocates for our new Hopportunity of Summer Shandy. It is a 74 out of 100 or okay. I had a ranking picked out from the Hyper Duck. This is from May 28th of 2019. They say it's okay. That's the best compliment I can muster. Tastes mostly of lemonade soda, backed by a subtle note of weedy, grainy malt sweetness that is actually most noticeable in the aftertaste, after the lemon is faded. I think I would agree with that. Suggestions of lemon peel towards the finish, but that's all about all I can come up with to describe this one's flavor profile. Ooh, there's a U in flavor. They're British.
Oh,
they're British.
It's fucking bloke.
Body with good carbonation levels that give it a crisp, satisfying bite. Now I'm Australian.
And now, I've gone a little bit south of the border.
Strip on the Bobby.
They say final grade 3.26, a C+. Summer Shandy is just tolerable enough to adequately perform its function, i.e. quench thirst in hot weather.
Wow. You see, he probably mistook it for a Blitzenspiegel or whatever the fuck the Brits call it. What'd you say they call it?
Or is that
Bucks Fizz?
Bucks Fizz. That's a mimosa.
Oh, got it. Sorry.
Oh, he's from Ontario. He says, hell, just this past summer when I first showed up in Ontario, I tossed a can in my backpack and enjoyed it on a hike.
Oh, hell.
It is funny. Yeah. Okay. Hyper Duck, thank you.
Yes, thank you for your contributions to Beer Advocate. Although, fuck Beer Advocate. We maintain that stance. I've not budged on it.
Yes. We only bring them up so we can disparage them.
Right. So if we get into rankings, ZP, now we know how much weight we'll give this, which is to say none at all. We will not prioritize anything you're about to say.
Hey, as long as you guys don't put any more shitty beers ahead of Lonnie's O, I'm fine.
What are your final thoughts on Summer Shandy? You have anything to say, ZP?
I think it's a fine beer for...
Yep.
But other than that, I don't think it holds a whole lot of weight.
Can you say that again? That connection broke up on my end, so I'm recording it, so that may not have come through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I said it's a fine beer for a very specific event, but other than that, it's just okay.
Cool. Thank you.
And surely we'll edit We'll edit this together
Absolutely
to sound good.
And it may have come through. I don't know how Zoom's recording works. It might be recording locally. I'm not sure.
Don't say that out loud that we're using this technology. I think after 2 of them that I would not reach for a third. So I agree with ZP on the specificity that this beer demands. I'm going to go, when I have another beer, because it is a Friday, I am allowed to have a third.
That's right.
Just a little bit. I'm an adult man. I can make my own decisions. When I get something else, I'm either going to drink red wine tonight, or I'm going to drink something like maltier. I'm going to be a big malt boy today.
Big malt head.
I'll toss my hop head. I lost it. I was going to say something about
You're going to put your malt hop head in the oven.
But it's a multi kind of day, which is probably something that's hurting Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy's chances right now. But yeah, after 2, I don't want a third one, and that's usually a bad sign.
Mm-hmm.
Mick?
Yeah, I agree. I have just completely stopped almost drinking this second one.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, no.
My second one is 13 years old, so I'm definitely not tapping into it.
Okay, so you are still on your first one on this show.
Yep.
Okay. That says something, too. An hour in and just drinking one.
I also had 2 pre-gamers. So.
No, I know, but it does say something about the beer. If it was a good
and a bump of the
crushing them,
cocaine
that I sent you in the mail. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think it's got to drop from its current spot at 40.
Much like a pass intended for Geronimo Allison, this thing is going to drop, and I have a tier for it, which I will say out loud right now.
Please.
And that is the olive loaf, baby.
Yeah.
This thing is plummeting.
Yeah.
You agree?
I think olive loaf is right where it belongs. Starts at 58.
Do you want me to read the olive loaf, taint to tip?
Oh, God, do I want you to, please.
So this is from 69 to 58. Number 69. That number we all like to laugh.
We don't do that here. We don't do that here.
That's not the type of goddamn show. Number 69 is Eyinger Brow Ice, Eyinger, which is so low. That's insanely low.
I know. When that was first rated, did we like bump that from somewhere?
We should do
that was like one of your
Hopportunity.
First beers, I think.
It was, yeah. Wow.
All these old beers are plagued by being way far down now. They've just been
recency bias, baby.
2017, we had Eyinger. Everybody's an expert. The boys, who are expert beer reviewers, take on the concept of ranking subjective experiences, like tasting beer, while they taste a beer. So that's
funny.
Fun.
That's a funny title. I bet I came up with that.
I was going to say it sounds like me. Number 69, Eyinger Brow Ice. Number 68, Heineken. Number 67, Melvin Killer Bees. 66, Lake Huron Blueberry Berlinweiss Ale. 65, Dale's Pale Ale. Oh, these are bad beers. 64, Miller High Life. 63, Tecate from the Syndicate. 62, Modelo Especial. 61, Grain Belt. 60, Tipsy Toboggan. 59, Wells Banana Bread Beer. I believe that was with our friend Brett Carve. And number 58, Trader Jose Premium Dark Beer, the Trader Joe's.
That is quite the murderer's roll of beers.
Yeah, it truly is the olive loaf tier. We did a good job.
Some of those I think are much better than others, though. I haven't tried all of them, obviously.
What popped out to you?
I really like Grain Belt. I think that's a really good one.
That's another Midwest beer, yeah.
Yeah.
So on the Grain Belt episode.
Yes, shared by Zach and my cousins, of course. Thank you again to Jackie and Eric.
Just going to say, the title there is Grain Belt is a 2018 episode, and the description is giggity.
Yeah,
the boys receive a generous gift from Nick's family, and Joey deals with a bug in his Venmo app.
That must have been you that wrote that one.
I highly doubt that. Why would we have done giggity? It must have been a bit
idea.
we were doing. Oh boy, that explains the listenership at this point.
I know.
The only one that popped out to me that I like more than it's being represented is Eyinger Brow Ice and Trader Jose Premium Dark Beer. I don't believe those two belong with the rest of these beers. I think both of those are really good, and the rest of those I don't remember or I genuinely don't like.
Okay. Yeah, I would say Modelo Especial maybe could move up a little bit, but I agree. I agree with what you said about Eyinger and
yeah. Okay, you got a spot? Or actually, I should say, are you in the olive loaf or are you somewhere else?
No, I'm in olive loaf. I like that spot.
Okay.
I do have one. Yeah.
Okay. In 3, 2,
2, 1.
61.
Mm.
Okay. So I have it just ahead of Grain Belt after Tipsy Toboggan, and you have it just ahead of Tecate after Modelo Especial, and we're very close.
Going after the syndicate.
Yeah.
That's right.
Both of us said
The
syndicate drops.
Ex-commish is on blast.
So
for not interacting with the pod on Twitter.
He interacts. He posts GIFs. The 2 in between is
I
Grain
just
Belt.
text Nicholas.
The 2 in between are Grain Belt and Modelo Especial. I personally kind of forgot about Grain Belt. I love the generous gift that you guys sent, but it was a very standard beer in my opinion. And number 62, Modelo Especial, I don't know. It's one that you just pass over, but I guess I would prefer that to Leinenkugel if I were standing there. Now that I'm looking.
Yeah, I also associate Modelo Especial with eating at a Mexican restaurant or something.
Yeah, lovely. What do you
when
order
you
at a Mexican restaurant?
When you guys did that episode, I went and picked it up, Especial, and I made tacos at home.
Oh, nice!
Wow.
See, it's inspiring home chefs around the country.
Our Modelo Especial episode is captioned, an episode entirely devoted to our good friend at Stodiac. So I don't know what we're doing there either.
Wow.
That was
back
in
is
2018.
That from? Okay.
March 16th, 2018.
I remember us taking the picture where we were impersonating his smile from his Twitter profile.
Right.
That's on your history page, too.
Okay.
Yes. Now that I wrote.
One of the few times we took that, Joey did right, painstakingly.
I do agree with you, Nick. Now that I stare at it for long enough, Grain Belt was a lovely gift, and Modelo Especial is better. When you go to a Mexican restaurant, what's your order of choice? You taco or a burrito man?
I would start with guac, and I'm a taco man.
I'm a taco man myself.
Big burrito.
I
want to eat a lot of small, tasty bites of the tacos.
Completely agree. My only thing is sometimes I like a fajita if they have a good mole. I love a mole. You can't beat a good mole.
You're a mole
CP?
Man.
I'm a burrito man.
A burrito man. Wow. All right. I'm good with putting this at number 63.
Okay.
Nick.
Okay. Thanks, Jake. No, this was fun. Thank you, ZP, for being here again, coming on the pod to defend your love, your life, your Lineys.
That was nice.
Thank you. I just came up with that. That was off the dome. God,
that's good stuff.
I write good captions, and I'm very smart.
You should be a copyright or something.
Yeah. I should start doing that someday. Another episode in the books, remotely done.
Well done, guys.
Good little boys following protocol. Everybody stay healthy out there. Drink a Lineys when it's appropriate. And
it's always appropriate to drink a Lineys.
Well, sure.
Okay. Celebrate. We'll celebrate when we all get out of this fucking quarantine. When we're out together again, a good thing we'll use to celebrate would be a Leinenkugel's.
Sure. Hey, Liney's on me, okay?
Wow, you heard it here first.
That's right. I'm going gangbusters in this quarantine. I got so much
evidence.
All right.